Hey everyone, so I thought I did a video about this a short while ago, but apparently it was 5 years ago and you don't want to see my videos of 5 years ago. So in today's video, we're gonna go over the difference between blocked, none, guest, roommate, family, and co-owner, and that's a lot to cover. So let's start with the first one, and that is the non-permission. Now, the non-permission, basically you can walk on someone's plot, you cannot enter their house unless they specifically leave their front door open, which happens a lot. You can break into a lot of houses if you want to. But a non-permission basically gives you 0 permissions on someone's plot. However, you can still enter it. If you want to, if they have a door open, you can still walk through the doors, but you cannot pick up anything, you cannot steal anything, you cannot move anything. You can just basically walk around their premises. Also, before we continue, a lot of people are actually running behind the person they want to give permissions and saying like, oh, stop, please, I need to give you permissions. And it's really annoying. You can do that another way as well. Just click on the little house. And then once you open that, you will see a little pop-up that says manage permissions, and there you can go to the person and give them permission. So you don't actually need to run behind a person to give them permissions if that's something you've been doing. Then next up we have the blocked permission. Now this is the lowest of permissions. If you give that to someone, it will always look like you are in build mode, even if you are not in build mode. So there will always be a black box around the plot of the person that blocked you or for the person that you have blocked, meaning that they cannot enter your plot boundaries. Whether you have a 30 by 30 grid or you have the large plot game pass, it blocks a 50 by 50 grid for them. If you get easily annoyed, definitely block everyone in the server and you'll be safe. You'll have no one on your plot, but it doesn't have any other consequences other than making it look like you are in build mode. And it's fun to troll people as well, because like you can enter your plot and walk around and then they are jumping in front of your plot like, oh, I cannot enter, why did you block me? But it will always look like you are in build mode. And there is no way to glitch through. If someone has no permissions, they can still glitch through your walls. There is a glitch that you can do for that. If they are blocked, there's no way to get in. Moving on to the next tier in permissions, and that is the guest permission. The guest permission gets given when you specifically give it to someone. When you throw a party, so throwing a party means that people can teleport to your plot. It will actually give a pop-up saying that someone threw a party and you can teleport to their plot. And it will automatically give everyone in the server the guest permission in your house, so be careful with that as well. And then when you add someone to your family, but I will come back to that later in the video, they will also be a guest with some extra permissions. So basically a guest is a vanilla person in your house. It's a perfect permission for role plays, I feel like, or people that you don't really trust, but you still want to give access to your house and like your kitchen and everything, because guests can actually cook food in your kitchen. So they can take a meal out of the fridge. They cannot access the content that you have stored though, so keep that in mind. If you store something, let's say a special Halloween cookie or a special Christmas item that you have in your fridge, they cannot access that. So guests have no access to that. However, if you leave it on one of your counters in your house, they can actually run away with that. Except for one item, there is a display. If you put stuff in that display, because it's mainly meant for like restaurant role plays and stuff like that, only roommates can take items out of that specific display. So if you put food into that display, guests cannot access it. However, if you put food on your counters or you leave it in your living room, keep in mind that someone with a guest permission can actually go and steal that food from you. But other than that, guests can use your beds, guests can open doors. However, you can also click a door and do lock for guests, and that will mean that everyone that has guests can still not open that specific door in your house. That is limited to roommates and co-owners. So if you don't trust someone or you want to keep a secret room or lock your basement for someone, you can do that. You can lock for a guest and give someone guest permission. Other than that, guests can shower, guests can cook, as I said, guests can use your bed, change their outfit in your closet, watch TV, so basically do anything that you can do except for a few things that I mentioned before. And guests can also sit in cars but not drive your car. So they cannot steal your car, they can only sit in it when you are driving or when you're not driving, but it's kind of useless to sit in a car that's just there. And that brings me to the next permission, and that is the family permission. Now for that one, you do actually need to go up to a person, click them, and then request to join family. Now this confuses a lot of people. The person that is making the family also needs to go to the other people and click them to invite them to the family. Because let's say, okay, how do I explain this in a very simple way? The head of the family, let's Let's say we have person A, B, and C. The head of the family, person A, they go to person B and request to join family. Person B joins that family. Then person B goes to person C and requests to join the family as well. However, person B is not the head of the current family, so what will happen is the family between person A and person B will be ended, and there will be a new family created between person B and person C. If you want multiple people in your family, person A has to go to person B and then go to person C and invite them both to the family, so they are one family. Basically, the head of the family goes to the people, invites them to the family. No one else can do it, otherwise the family will be broken up. I hope I make sense here. But the family permission basically can do anything a guest can do, so cook, use your bed, shower, change in the closet, open doors that aren't locked. And another thing that comes with family is that you can carry each other. For example, you're all playing as a mother, you can carry your baby, your toddler, your kid. Teens can carry each other, adults can carry each other, and that's all thanks to the family permission. Now this is also useful, for example, if you have a stroller in your house and you want to go on a walk with your baby, you can pick up your baby and put them in the stroller. You can put your baby to bed by picking them up, running to a bed and clicking that bed. So basically, family is everything a guest can do plus carrying people and putting your kids to bed, putting your kids in a stroller. You can basically walk around with other people. That sounds way worse than it actually is. Moving on to roommate. Now a roommate can do everything a guest can, but they have access to all of the doors, even the doors you have locked for a guest. Sometimes, and you need to turn that off in settings, I will include a short video in this video on how to do that. If you roommate someone, sometimes it asks you to set a budget. Now that's a setting, you can turn that off if you want to. So you can just roommate someone without giving them access to build mode on your plot. However, if you do have a roommate with access to building on and you set a budget to, for example, $10,000, they will have $10,000 to build on your plot. Now roommates can only build, they cannot remove items. So let's say you want someone to build on your house, but you are scared that they will remove your house. You can turn that setting on, give them access to your build mode. They can only build stuff, not remove stuff, and they have to ask you permission to remove something. So you have to remove that item then. But that's a prevention or a preventative way to still give kind of co-owner, which I will come back to in the next point, without the permission of them removing your entire house. However, if you only want to give someone roommate, turn that setting off. So what roommates can do, access all doors. They can steal your stored food. If you go to your fridge, view content, and you have your special items in there, for example, your 2023 New Year's cake, they can steal that. They can take that out of the fridge. And that's a very big change between guests and roommate. They can actually steal stuff from your fridge. Roommates can also drive your car, so not only sit in them, but also drive them and steal them. Well, steal them, not really. They always will come back to your plot. If you reload your house, they cannot steal them and take them to their plot, but they can drive around with your cars. And then moving on to the highest permission that you can give, only give this to people that you know and trust. Don't give this to someone who says ABC for me to build you a house, or can I change something to your house? Can you give me co-owner? Do not give that permission to a random stranger. That's a very powerful permission. Basically, you give someone a budget on your plot. They can use that budget to build, and they can do everything a roommate can in your house. But if they go in build mode on your plot, they can also delete everything that's there already. Your cars, your house, your backyard. The money will go back to you, but your house will be gone. So keep that in mind as well. If they delete stuff, they will not get more budget than what you set. So for example, if you give them $10,000 to build, you do not lose that money unless they spend it on building on your plot. So it's not a donation. But if they remove your $100,000 car, the money will go back to you. They will not get more budget to build on your house. They will still have that $10,000 that you lent them, basically. So it's not like if you set a budget for a co-owner or a roommate that can go into build mode and you set it to $10,000 that you immediately lose $10,000. They just have $10,000 of your money to build with. If they don't use that, you don't lose any money. If they use $1,000, then you'll lose $1,000 basically. So it's not a donation, it's more so setting a part of your money aside for the other player to use. use. If they don't use it, it goes back to you. But a co-owner can delete your house, can do anything in build mode that you can do. They cannot, however, buy new Bloxburg items. They can take stuff from your inventory and stuff that you already bought before and place that. They can never buy Bloxburg items or spend any of your Bloxburg. So that's something important to keep in mind as well. They can only use normal money. But I hope that this explanation makes it a little more clear if you were confused about the permissions. I know there's a lot of permissions and there's a lot to learn about them, but once you get the hang of them, they're really easy, and like it's really easy to tell like what permission you can give someone for a certain thing. But just keep in mind, stealing from fridges, deleting houses, stuff like that, very dangerous sometimes, but I like that we do have the ability to let other people build on our plots. Now anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this video helped you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe.